Have you ever taken a sip of coffee and felt that first wave of warmth hit your chest? That quick spark that wakes up your brain and shifts your whole mood? It feels simple, but the story behind that moment is anything but simple. What is inside your cup carries a history shaped by discovery, struggle, trade, religion, science, and human curiosity. This drink has crossed mountains, deserts, oceans, kingdoms, and empires. It has fueled early travelers, monks, soldiers, traders, musicians, rebels, and today's entire modern world. So settle in, take another sip, and let's go all the way back to where this global journey truly began. Our story starts in the wild, green highlands of Ethiopia. Around the 9th century, a young goat herder named Kaldi noticed something strange. His goats were acting wild, running, jumping, and refusing to sleep after eating bright red berries from a shrub. Curious, Kaldi tasted the berries himself. Almost instantly, he felt sharper, more alive. Unsure what he had discovered, Kaldi took the berries to a nearby monastery. At first, a monk threw them into the fire, thinking they were dangerous, but soon a new smell filled the room, the aroma of roasted coffee beans. The monks collected the roasted beans, crushed them, mixed them in hot water, and tasted the first primitive cup of coffee. The drink kept them awake through long night prayers, and from there, coffee slowly became part of spiritual life and daily routine. Ethiopia still honors this tradition through its famous coffee ceremony, where beans are roasted and brewed in front of guests as a sign of hospitality. From Ethiopia, coffee crossed the Red Sea into Yemen. By the 15th century, Yemeni Sufi monks were cultivating the plant in terraced farms and using the drink to stay awake through long devotional practices. Yemen's port city, Mocha, became the first major coffee marketplace, giving the world the name Mocha. Coffee houses began appearing, places where people debated, read poetry, listened to music, and exchanged stories. These spaces became cultural engines, shaping how people talked, learned, and shared ideas. As coffee spread, the Ottoman Empire embraced it fully. Istanbul became home to elegant coffee houses where politicians, poets, scholars, and travelers gathered. People called these places schools for thinkers. Turkish coffee preparation became an art. Finely ground beans simmered slowly until thick and aromatic. Coffee even entered social customs like fortune-telling through cup readings. In the Ottoman world, coffee meant hospitality, sophistication, and conversation. By the 1600s, coffee had crossed the Mediterranean and reached Europe via Venetian trade routes, arriving first in port cities that already handled goods from the Ottoman world. At first it remained a curiosity, a dark, bitter drink unfamiliar to European palates and largely confined to merchant circles and courtly curiosity. But the novelty quickly turned into demand, as ships, merchants, and diplomatic envoys carried tales and samples home. Physical places dedicated to the drink began to appear. Venice, Amsterdam, and Genoa were early points of contact, where merchants introduced coffee, and where European consumers first encountered Middle Eastern coffeehouse culture. Those early meeting places evolved into coffee houses that spread fast across major cities. In London, by the mid-17th century, coffee houses became hubs of commerce and conversation so lively and idea-dense that people nicknamed them penny universities. For the price of a penny you could buy a cup and gain access to news, debate, and networks of information that previously required wealth or academic standing to reach. These rooms were practical incubators. Merchants compared shipment schedules, financiers read news sheets and negotiated deals, and writers and thinkers exchanged pamphlets and arguments. The coffee house therefore changed how information circulated, accelerating everything from stock trading to scientific discussion. Across the channel, Parisian cafes cultivated a different atmosphere. There, hot cups accompanied salons where writers, philosophers, and poets refined ideas that fed the Enlightenment. Coffee provided a public, semi-formal space where intellectual life spilled out of courts and universities and into the city's streets. Meanwhile, in Vienna, the arrival of Turkish-style coffee after the late 17th century, conflicts created long-lasting habits, cozy rooms, layered conversation, and a culture that paired coffee with pastries, newspapers, and music, an environment conducive to composition and debate. These variations show how local history and social needs shaped what a coffee house became in each city. At the same time, European colonial expansion turned coffee into an agricultural project on a global scale. Plants and seedlings were transplanted into new climates, first in island colonies, and then across the Americas, where plantation agriculture could supply the growing European appetite. Perhaps the most famous of these transplanting stories concerns Gabriel D. Cleu, who is credited with transporting a coffee seedling to Martinique. In the early 18th century, from that single plant came seedlings that spread across the Caribbean and then South America, laying foundations for large-scale cultivation. Over the 18th and 19th centuries, countries such as Brazil exploited suitable climates at scale and developed infrastructure, plantations, railways, ports, so coffee shifted from a luxury commodity into a major export crop that reshaped regional economies and labor systems. Industrial and technical advances then altered both production and consumption. Mechanical roasters and mills increased output. The cocoa press era and adjacent industries showed how innovation could change tastes and accessibility across classes. In Italy, inventors pursued machines that could brew coffee faster and on demand, an effort that culminated in a late 19th century patent for a steam pressure machine that anticipated modern espresso technology. Those engineering breakthroughs transformed cafes. Again, coffee could be served quickly and consistently, allowing busy urban rhythms to fold the cup into daily routines. By the 19th and 20th centuries, what began as an imported novelty had become a woven global fabric. Colonial plantations supplied beans, industrial tech shaped taste and availability, and urban cafes reflected national habits. Through trade, invention, and social adaptation, each region forged a distinctive coffee identity, rituals, brewing methods, and cultures that turned one simple berry into recognizable cultural signatures around the world. Each cup reflected local culture, climate, values, and taste. Coffeehouses evolved into modern social hubs, places to work, relax, study, meet friends, or spark ideas. They became creative centers for writers, filmmakers, entrepreneurs, and students. Even political movements found roots inside cafes. Just like centuries before, behind the scenes, millions of farmers grow and harvest the beans that end up in shops and homes around the world. Fair trade movements, sustainable farming, and improved processing methods have helped farmers earn more and produce higher quality beans. Specialty coffee pushed the world to appreciate flavor notes, origins, and unique processing styles. Today, microlots, experimental fermentation, and high-elevation beans show just how far coffee has evolved. From a goat herder's discovery to global cultural influence, coffee changed how humans stay awake, how they think, and how they connect. It shaped economies, inspired creativity, and traveled through empires and centuries to reach your cup today. Next time you take a sip, remember you are drinking a piece of history, a story that began in the mountains of Ethiopia and spread across the world, one energizing cup at a time. If you loved this deep dive, hit like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments how you take your coffee and which part of its history surprised you the most. Share this video with someone who loves a good story with their morning cup. More amazing journeys are on the way, do not miss them.